They haven't made it to the bigs, so that energy is still behind them. Like so yeah, man for man, you might get players who I know I'm not making it to the league or whatever. I'm just playing basketball, but in a general sense, those teams are all those players, the individual players are all playing for something more than just that championship, more than just like you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, like he even
They got
breaks down like the actual sets. So I'm like, dude, I don't see what he sees, but he's a
not
former coach.
not from officiating, from
Yeah,
officiating to actual like if you're like a for real purist and fundamentals is your thing, college basketball is where you're gonna get more of that. I
yeah,
think like
that's what. Yeah,
the NBA game is really starting to get watered down with a lot. Like, yo, I really don't like the officiating, yo. And it's almost like the the refs are like the third team on the court. Like you you don't know what they're gonna call. Are they gonna actually call official basketball plays? Am I gonna be able to hold the ball and just walk a halfway across the court and they not call walk? Like it I don't understand how. Like I would assume that the most professional and best league would have the best officiating.
I mean, I hear you.
That's
I
just
don't
me.
disagree. I don't disagree.
That's just,
I still love the NBA more than college basketball, but it is what
oh,
it is.
definitely. I'm just talking about. I understand why certain people take that stance though. I get it. Like I won't kill them for it, but I'm always more so about the big game. Like give me give me the most professional game possible. Like that's what I want to see. But
Listen. Speaking of big game and big dogs, we got Mike here. What's going on, Mike?
pew pew
What is
pew
going
pew
on,
pew
gentlemen?
pew
Thank you
pew
for
pew
having me back.
pew.
And in the restaurant industry, they say anybody can feed somebody once, but if you feed somebody twice, you've actually done something. So here I am back. I didn't screw it up the first time.
No, you did not. I love that. I gotta remember that idiom. Nice. Well, if ladies and gentlemen, if you couldn't tell, we're back here for another NBA podcast, part deux, with our own Free Keith, Heroes Peak's own. What's up, Keith?
What's up, guys? Pleasure to be back again. Loving the
And
team.
our restaurateur, Mike. What's going on, Mike?
Gentlemen, I'm back here in the office in between youth sports games, so it's already been a full day, and there's more yet to come.
How did that big talk go? The big
Oh,
talk.
so awkward, so awkward. And we got to leave it there because Mason watches the pod.
Oh, all right. Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, Hero Peakers, welcome back. It's yours truly, James, the ghost of David Stern, here to go over a couple items here for the NBA, as the NBA is in full speed playoff mode. But before we talk about playoffs or even the play-in, let's talk about how the season ended with this NBA ruling, the 65 game ruling that was reviewed. Didn't go to arbitration, but a decision was made by both the NBA and the Players Union to allow certain members who did not hit that threshold of 65 games to be eligible for end of year season awards, including the MVP award, which was the highly contested one this season. So this particular ruling affected a handful of all-star players, top players, including Luka Doncic, Kate Cunningham, and Anthony Edwards on the wrong side of that. So let's start with Mike, our guest here. Mike, when you heard this coming down and of course you being a Celtic fan, Jalen Brown and Tatum, are hallmark players. What did you think about the way the NBA decided to address the 65 game ruling for this season and not prior seasons?
I think the rule is silly,
Mm.
and I think it's a way uh, for the NBA to kind of chicken out on doing part of its job.
Oh fuck! Right on.
So, why do we need this rule? What's the purpose of the rule? First of all, let's start
Well,
there.
before Keith goes, let me just hit that real quick. The the intent from what we heard a couple years ago was to limit tanking and load management, curbing load management, right? From your all stars who back to back. I think it really started with Kawhi Leonard, right? But you hit a point. The NBA can't really officiate that, so they decided to give the 65 game ruling as like a guardrail. But and then Keith, I'll let you go here. I don't think it really has worked the way the NBA had intended to. But Keith, I'll let you go.
It's an 82 game season. It's an 82 game season. Personally, I think it's unfair to the to the tenets of competition. Let's say if you have if you have guys that could just play 40 games for the season, injury, whatever, you know what I'm saying, and just really kind of like springboard past guys who like literally played the whole season and are giving their all for like 70 game plus. I understand the rule. I don't think it's perfect. I don't think it's perfect, but you gotta have a floor. You gotta have a floor. And I honestly think that, like you said, like it it wasn't so much an issue to the Kawhi thing, right? But like when something exposes a flaw, what do you do?
But here's the thing. I asked the question because honestly, it doesn't never made a lot of sense to me. The answer I just heard was to prevent too much load management and to prevent tanking from getting worse.
Well, I don't think it was a tanking rule.
Tanking is
I don't
worse
think
than
that
it's
was a.
ever been, and the
I don't think
load
it's a
management is
tanking.
still there. I agree with you, Keith, that we don't want guys that are playing 20, 30, 40 games getting these awards. But putting in these weird rules that prevent some guys who had a legitimate injury that otherwise were having a great season from getting an award or making All NBA, that's not the way to go about it. Like the NBA just has to man up. The NBA chooses who votes on these awards. If I'm the commissioner and I'm running this and I see some voters casting votes for their besties, even
Mm-hmm.
though they only played 20, 30, 40 games, here's how you solve the problem. Take the
That'll
vote
be
away.
harder. That'll be harder
Take
to
the vote away.
police. I
Yeah.
think that'll be harder to police because, like, how do you police someone's likes or dislikes? Or, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it becomes, I think that would make, I think that would make it become way too political. I think that'll make it become way too political. If,
Yeah.
if then you're policing the voting of, yeah, I can see a recipe for, for corruption and collusion. But I agree with you on. Here's my thing. I think at the very least, right, what you need to establish for the players to all that to flourish or not, or this, that, and the other, the rules and the settings that you make around the player environment has to be fair, right? Now, if I'm going to have awards, I'm giving. It's not just one award. It's not just the MVP, right? There's All NBA. There's yeah. There's All NBA. There's MVP. There's Defensive Player of the Year. There's you know what I'm saying, Most Improved Player. Like
And these are
imagine
awards that have cash incentives for a lot of players too.
not just cash incentives. It's in the CBA. These things now are attached to what your future pay could be. Like
Yeah.
I can't even be a max player. I can't get a max contract unless I hit some of those
Benchmark.
notches, those
Yeah.
benchmarks. Now let's say I'm kicking my ass to do it. I'm a relatively healthy player. I'm kicking my ass to do it, and like I take care of my body, this, that, and the other. I'm playing 72 to 82 games now. You can tell me you come in injury, even injury or whatever that keeps you out. You're here, you're there for 40 games, and like you could literally just piss over all my hard time. Why am I so dedicated? Like why? You know what I'm saying? Like if there's no floor to the whole thing, if there's no floor to the whole thing, like I think it takes away the incentive for like, oh, it's midseason, uh, Embiid is coming back. I guess I'm not gonna get Defensive Player of the Year. I'm not like it. I don't like the idea. I don't like the idea of like a competitor being able to reap the same rewards as somebody who competed less.
Well, I would
That
argue be better. If you are playing 75 games and you can't beat out a 64 game season from Luka Doncic, get back in the lab. That's on you.
Now it's
Well,
already a political. But see, but here's the thing: it's already like say MVP. It's already a political. It's already a slightly political award
yeah.
because by rights, Joker should have been the MVP the last 4 or 5 years.
Thank you.
Michael Jordan should have been MVP for at least 9 years. So it's politics involved already. We know it. We know it.
Yep.
So if there's politics involved, I'm more enthused to provide some kind of like baseline floor for things that can go on. So you can't do nothing crazy. Like, oh, one of the darlings of the league, Klay Thompson, or God forbid something happens to Steph and he's out for the first 30 games and he just gets to have the rest of the season to flourish and because he's already a darling of the league, somebody who may be almost numbers wise with him won't get it.
I
Yeah.
You know what I'm
think
It's
saying?
not
And that's not
MVP
and
of the
that
second half of
and
the
that,
season. MVP of the entire season. Yeah.
and
I think
this is my thing. These are entire season awards. Entire season awards. And if you want, I'd even concede, like, let's do it award by award. Like MVP, okay, I could give you the MVP if you played less than 65 games. Why? Because it's easy to target who the most valuable player on a team is, right? Like, I don't care if your best player is out for half the year, that's still your best player.
Best
So the
player.
impact he has on your team specifically can be impacted by that. Great, he comes back, and what once was a playing team is now a second round team, a second seed team in the NBA because of what he did. Yes, you are a most valuable player. Six man of the year, though. Six man of the year. I need you to play 65 games. I need you to play 65 games. No way in the world you playing 40 games, and I'm giving you a most valuable player award. I'm not doing that. I think that
yeah,
that's disrespectful. That's
I don't disagree.
disrespectful.
I also think sixth men are not really the problem with load management. Those guys are playing their games. They're still trying to crack the rotation and get a max contract, right? I just
These
think
are
it's
all,
easier to hold the voters accountable than to hold the players accountable. They had this rule. The players still did what the players always did. Nothing
and they
changed.
forfeited, and they forfeited to me. I think some guys forfeited some awards, and I'm not mad at that. Make your choice. That's cool. You still got millions in your pocket. It's not like it's not like you're going broke. You're going to be a
well,
pauper, but like
well,
you reward the excellent. You reward the excellent. That's
here's
what I'm
where I think
saying.
I don't disagree with that. The other piece of this is like these awards kind of end up being in the history books for people to go back and try to understand what was going on in the NBA at a certain time. So when you put this rule in, and I know Cade and Luka won their appeals, but hypothetically if they don't, it would be insane for Cade Cunningham not to be on an All-NBA team this year after what he did for the Pistons, regardless of how many games he missed. It's not reflective of what happened this season. So that's the other piece you got to take into account.
look at Anthony Edwards. He didn't win the appeal. He had a
Yeah.
pretty good season. But he's not. He no longer can contest for any awards.
And to me, I would give it to Anthony Edwards before Cade. You know what I'm saying?
I
Like
would.
that's at some level, it comes down to politics, bro. At some level, so that's why you
Yeah, they
have
don't
to
like. They don't like Anthony.
provide. They don't like Anthony at all, bro.
No.
But at some level, it's not like he does himself any favors. But it's like to be
It's not
fair,
it's not politics on some level. It's politics at the highest level.
at the
They let
highest
two players
level,
appeal. They approved two. They didn't approve the other one.
Mm.
I felt
That's the
like
NBA making that call.
it should have been all or none of them.
Yeah, it should have been all or none.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm saying. If there's going to be stuff that like comes down to certain human decision, then you got to create a mathematical basis. I understand
So
it's not perfect. I understand it's not perfect, and that there are things you can quibble with it. But when you have things that aren't coming down to just like black and white brass tacks decisions, then you need to have some kind of cage. You got to have rules.
I
It,
think my proposed solution would be you issue guidance to the voters, and
guidance.
it can be award specific. And then if you're the NBA and you see voters not adhering to the guidance or throwing it out the window, you just take the vote away.
But how do you know they're not adhering to the guidance? That's what I'm saying. Because you
Yeah, you
can't
can't
argue.
enforce
You
guidance.
can't.
You can't
Yeah, you
enforce
can't. I can't go to you and be like, oh, why'd you vote for this guy? Didn't you see the guidance? Oh, I thought he fit into what you described.
that.
I guess here's my
How are
point.
you going to tell me I'm wrong?
Do you think a player cares more about winning Defensive Player of the Year, or a media member cares more about keeping their vote?
The latter,
But
I think.
but you're understanding me. To take my
So there's
vote
higher
away,
motivation to do the right thing by the voters than there is for the players, and we just saw it play out real time this year.
but to take my vote away, you have to prove that I did something incorrectly. And
No,
how
I
do you
don't.
do that? What
Keith,
do you mean? Oh,
Keith, how did you get your vote? How did you get your vote to begin with?
I think what don't media members have votes? The media
No,
members are
No,
the
not all of
NBA
them.
picks, and they didn't have to prove anything that you deserve to vote, and
so
they don't
now
have
Yo,
to
I'm
prove
putting
anything to take it
Bill,
so
away.
now
hold
I'm
on. Bill Simmons of the Ringer has a fucking vote.
nice.
Bill
I
Simmons.
would give him a vote. Like in terms of a representative of a certain market, he is Mr. Sports Podcasting. I'm giving him a vote. Like there's millions of people that he has influenced. I'm giving him a vote. He's earned his sports chops. I'm giving him a vote. I hate Stephen A. I'm giving him a vote. You know what I'm saying? Like it's yeah. You know what I'm saying? But it's like certain people you for them to take away Bill Simmons' vote, you're gonna have to explain that. Who you giving it to?
I
Who
don't know
you
why
giving it to that meets that standard? Like who you giving it to?
I don't understand why you don't have to prove anything to get the vote, but then you have to prove you didn't adhere to guidance in order to have it taken away. It's subjective.
But the voting is free. It's free. It's not like you're paying people. It's not like they're getting paid to vote. Like I think we're looking at it like
No, but
I
all
don't
these
even.
media
Do you
members,
know? Do you know the name of all the voters? Do you
no,
know who
I have a
all the?
wife.
No, and you never will because they're not. They're such a minimal part of the actual
By the
thing.
way, a quick
But
Google search. A
while I
quick
don't
Google search.
disagree, every one of those voters monetizes their vote via a
Yes.
podcast, via an appearance in ESPN, via whatever.
Yeah,
Now
a
I hear
quick
you.
Google
I'm not saying
search.
they'd want to get it taken away. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying the process of doing so becomes to me becomes one that immediately turns back to politics. That's my thing. And then so now all that power is in the hands of the NBA again for them to pick people who are going to choose how they want them to. It's a setup. That would be a setup for more NBA conspiracy.
Yeah, I was gonna say a quick Google search revealed to me a list of the voters who have declared that they vote, but it's not all of the voters. So some voters are still, in secret, which is weird. I think at least you should be public. You don't have to tell us what guidance or benchmarks you use, but it should be known who voted for whom.
I think it should be full transparency. We should know who
Yeah,
all the voters are and know what all the votes are
yeah.
for all of this stuff. NFL
Like
votes,
Congress. Like
Gasol,
Congress.
Belichick, all of it.
We
Just put
know
it
in
all.
Congress who votes for what bill. It's there.
The only way we ever know who voted for what is when a guy like Stephen A. says who he voted for,
And everybody hears it.
and everybody
Yeah.
hears it. Like
And,
that's
and, and speaking of Bill Simmons, he did this podcast saying why he voted for Shea over Jokic.
this is
Fucking
what I'm saying. Like so, like it's not even like our transparency comes from those who are trying to monetize their vote. But if you're not trying to monetize your vote, I'm not going to know that you were one of the voters.
Yep.
Well, this had a lot more energy than I thought we were going to have for the opening topic because I thought we were going to be saving our energy for the next topic, which we want to get into, which is the the playoffs themselves. Let's start with the play-in. So we had a couple of teams, both in the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference, come out on the 7, 8, 9, and 10 spots. And I'm not going to focus on the Heat and the Hornets. I really want to focus on two games. One, obviously, Golden State defeating the Clippers and then losing last night to the Suns, as I predicted. Uh, as I predicted. And then Orlando. What the fuck, Orlando? Where have you been? Let's start with the sexier topic, the Warriors winning and losing. Let me just set the cadence here for this conversation. I thought, first of all, the idea of the play-in tournament a couple of years back was kind of silly in my mind. But I think I have to pivot. It actually came out to be a pretty good idea. I don't recall exactly what was the purpose. I think they're trying to make sure certain teams don't tank because they're at that threshold of, first round pick or making the playoffs. So the league was trying to
It was
find
the
an incentive
anti-tanking.
for certain teams to keep competing. But I think it worked, and I think some of these games, particularly the Warriors games, have been more entertaining than any games I've seen during the regular season. So let me start this time with Keith. What were your thoughts on the Warriors or any of the play-in games that you saw this week?
I congrats to you. You made some very good and astute choices. But man, I I really thought, but honestly, this is probably the year. I think I think the Warriors are definitely on the other side of their sunset. You know what I'm saying? And great run, great run. I man, I would love their last decade run. Definitely to me is among the best that I've seen in my time
Decade one.
watching
Wow.
NBA.
That's
Um,
phenomenal.
I
They
didn't
were more
expect them to
successful
beat
than
the
the Spurs
Clippers.
decade run. Yeah, yeah,
Yes, yes. Spurs didn't get four.
yeah.
Spurs didn't get four of them things. Not in that run. They got
Not in
more than
that run.
four, but
Yeah, the
not in that
'99 was
run.
a yeah.
It's two
'99 was a
different
different.
runs. It was all Duncan though. They
Yeah,
got five.
they got
They
five,
got,
but
but
that
not
first
alone.
run with
Not one
Robinson.
core
Yeah,
group getting to like 10 years with your own core with your first like 10 plus years with that core. Only the
yeah,
Bulls. Only the Bulls.
yeah. Even
Only
then,
the
that was
Bulls.
two separate runs too.
I feel like LeBron could have done it had he stayed someplace, but that's another
Next town,
story.
LeBron. Next
That's
town,
another
LeBron.
story. That's another story for another time. Whatever.
That's for our third podcast. But go ahead.
But I was surprised. I was surprised that they beat the Clippers, but I'm not surprised that they're not there.
Yeah, same, same. Mike, I know you've been at the. Go ahead, Mike.
I was not surprised they beat the Clippers because I've been watching basketball my whole life, and the Clippers are the Clippers. So anybody that was surprised by that is new to the game. New to the
Water is
game, I should
wet,
say, new to the
sky is
league.
blue, Clippers suck.
This is what the Clippers do. That was Clippers basketball. That's exactly what it was. Um,
That was Clippers basketball.
what I was surprised by were the Magic, who I gotta say is they're a team in the NBA that is more appropriately named right now because they lost to the Celtics bench and then Magic. We're gonna start trying and playing defense and hitting shots like unbelievable out of nowhere. So that was really jarring to me. I also might have underestimated how or overestimated how ready that Hornets team was to go to battle. For the last 2 months of the season, from what I saw, they were outright the better team than the Magic for a solid 2 months, and you wouldn't have known that watching the game last night at all. Um,
Embarrassing.
The Suns, first of all, they got to be feeling great about that KD trade, right? Like if you're the Rockets, you're seeing everything that's you just got to trade KD and you get good, right? Uh,
You just gotta trade KD.
they'll win the chip next year if they trade KD over the summer. Um, the Suns, I was less surprised about because that is a very good young team. They do play hard. They're well coached. Jalen had the night of his life, so that came in a timely fashion. But the Hornets just looked overwhelmed by the Magic. I don't have too many thoughts on the playing games. I mean, we're talking about teams on the precipice of the lottery here, so that's a recipe for inconsistency, which is probably why we see some of the outcomes that we see. And I will say, lastly, the Warriors, this run's over. I don't know if you saw, but Steve Kerr told Steph and Draymond, "Hey, I don't know what's going to happen, but I love you guys."
Yeah,
Every time
I
I've said that, it's been over.
I saw that. I saw that. Yo, people were giving like Hans Zimmer Interstellar theme music to that little hug that they did out into the good night. The Oppenheimer. It was some fantastic memes were created from that little trio good night memes. Yeah.
You could feel it.
I will say this. It's interesting because the NBA historically has done this, right? They put this play-in thing to kind of help with the tanking situation, hoping more teams would try harder and stay in the picture more. It didn't solve that problem at all, but it's freaking great.
Yes.
It's really entertaining.
Yes.
Even the jockeying to not be in the play-in at the end of the regular season and make sure you're in the 6th seed so you don't have to deal with that and you're guaranteed a 7-game series.
Yeah.
I think it's been a fantastic addition to the game. I wouldn't be mad if they included the 5 and the 6 seed.
Oh,
I mean, why not? Let's have some fun.
Getting savage mode.
Make it a fight for the top 4.
But then the more teams you add to the plan, you create a whole different kind of tournament now. Like I'm not even. I mean, you could call it the play-in, but literally, if you add if you add two more seeds, that's 8 more teams. Like you're literally, wow, that's
another playoff.
That's another playoff.
That's a playoff
before the playoffs.
What's exciting about it is like
I wouldn't be mad at it. I wouldn't be mad at it.
What's exciting about it is like let's say you're the 5 seed, right, and you're in the play-in, and you're looking at the team that's sitting at 4. You kind of don't want to play them. You throw that first play-in game, right? But then you better win the second one. Otherwise, you could be playing like the Celtics or the Pistons or in the West.
Yeah,
one of the best teams in the country. So
the more I think about it, the more I think I actually would like it. Yeah. Because right now I'm just looking at the brackets. The Raptors in the East are the 5th, Hawks are the 6th, and then in the West it's the Rockets are the 5th, and the Timberwolves are the 6th seed. That would have been interesting to see those 4 teams really have to compete to not get. That's a good point, Mike. I like that one. Well, that being said, let's talk about the playoffs themselves, right? Which is in progress at this very moment. I'm just going to leave this one open for them. Pick whatever matchups that you're interested in, or you could, just talk about the playoffs in general, what you're expecting. Mike, you go first this time, and please don't start with the Celtics. Any other playoff bracket, but the Celtics, please.
Okay, I won't start there, but I won't start there. I'll take your advice, but I'm intrigued by the Lakers-Rockets series.
As I am.
Very intrigued. I think the Lakers have a very good chance of winning that series, and I wonder what happens to the Rockets if they did, right? They can't be thrilled with the way this played out. I think they all. I mean, you rewind back to October, November. This was supposed to be a championship contender. I don't feel that way about this team.
Me neither.
And if we get past, 40-year-old LeBron and Austin Reeves, I mean, what do you got, right?
Thunder.
What do you got?
You got the Thunder.
Can LeBron just retire already, please? Just go away.
He should take. I didn't start it, but he should take the veteran minimum with the Celtics. We're happy to have you, LeBron.
Don't be surprised if LeBron goes to the Warriors.
No, that's the move of the LeBron.
And then they'll call it the Last Dance.
If you're
Last
pissed at
Dance Part 2.
if you're pissed at the Lakers and you want to stick it to the Lakers, you go to the Celtics, baby.
Oh, no. I can see going to the Warriors and calling it the Last Dance Part 2.
And he ride out into the sunset with Clay. That almost would be too perfect, like for this era to ride out this era.
He releases his own Netflix, The Last Dance Part 2, to stick it to Jordan also.
That team is riding out into the play-in tournament, if you ask
me. They pick up Giannis and LeBron. They might have a shot.
If they got Giannis, yeah.
Oh, fuck. Yeah,
a Giannis Steph pick and roll would be an interesting to watch on a nightly basis.
That would have been fucking crazy.
They would. Oh, they just have to spam the league with that. They could win all year with just that. That'd be hard to defend.
That'd be hard to defend. Speaking of hard to defend, Mike, go ahead. Feel free to talk about your Celtics now before we switch to Keith.
So I was just going to say, not thrilled with the way the play-in worked out for the Celtics. Would have much rather seen the Magic. Would have much rather seen the Hornets. Before when LaMelo had the game of his life. This Sixers team is frisky, even without Embiid. The two young guards are electric. Either one of them could go nuclear at any time. And like, if Paul George has anything in the tank, this could end up being a competitive series. If he doesn't, then we're probably looking at Celtics in 5 or something like that. But
God damn.
I'm not as thrilled as I would be if we were playing some of the other teams I mentioned. And just to touch this off and maybe a good segue to Keith, I think the Hawks are going to be frisky.
Keith, he just set you up, Keith. Go for it.
I'm not calling an upset here, but I think they're going to be frisky.
No.
I
think that's more than fair. That's more than fair. Like, I'm not one of the Knicks fans that tell you we're just going to go in there and walk all over them. I think I know we're going to win, but the Hawks is a good team. Like, they're not a team to sneeze at. Like, I'm not thinking that we're going to go in there and it's just going to be us dominating 4 games in a row. Personally, I see us walking away in 6, but I'm very concerned about the Hawks. That team is spicy, but
they are.
If we activate their center is not going to be there. He's injured. If we activate Cat, if we should be playing through Cat, activating Mitch at the rim on offense. They have no one to match. They have no one to match their height. Like, this should be a game that's played in the air.
The thing that's really helping the Knicks in this specific series too is that the Hawks are very young and very inexperienced. Like, outside of C.J. McCollum, I don't know if any of them have ever played in a playoff game. And I think all 3 of us have been at MSG for a Knicks playoff game. At least I have. I can speak for myself. That's a situation, and that is an environment that they're going to have to adapt to with their lack of experience.
I think somebody said that they were doing practices, and they were having the stadium sounds from playoffs at MSG blasting in their room.
Smart.
That's diabolical.
It's smart. No, when I heard that, I was like, oh, that's smart, because I think that's one of the biggest hurdles to a new team, to a young team coming into the playoffs. Like, you come into the stadium like.
I hear that shit in my head now too.
You've obviously played at Madison Square Garden. If you're in the playoff, you've played there probably a few times over the season.
Yeah, but the playoff Garden.
Nothing like the playoffs. Nothing like the
Boston Garden, MSG, like Oklahoma City. From what I hear, I've never been there.
Yeah.
From what I understand, like there's
personally
some of
logic.
these arenas and some of these fan bases. There's another level that it gets to when the playoffs roll around.
Well, let me jump in here and tell you the playoff matchup that I'm the most excited for. It's the Spurs and the Trailblazers, baby. It won't be as exciting as the Hawks and the freaking Knicks or the Celtics and Sixers or even the Lakers and Rockets. I think this is the Wemby fuck you mode season, and I'm excited to see what he's gonna do to put his stamp and signature in the opening round of the playoffs against a team that doesn't have any real reliable paint defender. They do have a pretty good guard, some pretty good guards, but in the paint they're kind of weak. And I'm looking forward to see Wemby telling the league, "Fuck you, I'm here now. I'm
He's
ready."
been saying that. Haven't you
Yeah,
been
but in
listening?
the playoffs though, I'm talking about in the playoffs. Playoffs?
Oh no,
Playoffs?
definitely. Yo,
Yeah.
I don't care what team you're talking. Knicks, Celtics, whatever team that we're talking about is in contention this year for the chip, even out west. OKC, well, there is a clock that's ticking right now. Wemby's about to take over this league. I
But
have to get my chip now. I have to get my chip now.
what's
Have
going
to.
to be interesting about the Spurs Blazers series is, I mean, the Spurs are going to sweep them. That's not going to be
They're gonna.
interesting, but
They're gonna. I think they're gonna get swept. Yeah.
yeah. But what's going to be interesting is like Wemby played 29 minutes a game this year. He's going to need to play more than that against the good teams in the playoffs if the Spurs actually want to try to win the title. So the question is, do you start ramping them up now against the Blazers, try to get them into 33, 34, 35 minutes a game?
Yes, sir.
Or do
Yes,
you
sir.
wait and you just unleash that in the Nuggets series? And the other thing that I'm excited to see is when he is playing 34, 35, maybe 36 minutes a game, what kind of numbers is he going to put up then? Because don't forget, the stats he's been putting up, which are otherworldly, he's playing less than a half hour a game.
You're right, and I know we're not going to do past the opening round in today's podcast, but I'm very excited to see if, assuming Denver completes their beatdown of the Timberwolves for their series, that matchup. Because to your point, Mike, is Wemby will have to go all out against Joker in that matchup scenario. More than 30 minutes. He's got to be
And
on the floor a lot more.
and in
Then
the what
don't sleep on
in,
the Timberwolves.
the
Nah, I'm
Timberwolves are up
sleeping
by
on him.
7. Timberwolves are up by 7 right now. In that what I thought was the game of the year, that Nuggets Spurs game that went to overtime. I think Wemby played like 40 minutes. I think he was gassed in overtime. He was cooked. So it's going to be interesting to see how they ramp him up and how well he handles it with the extended minutes.
For sure, for sure, for sure. Um, that being said, I want to do a little bit of a wild card here. No pun intended. What are your thoughts so far on this season, both the end season tournament that we had, the play-ins, the current playoffs, the season as a whole? Because for those who are paying attention before our official start, we talked about the NBA audience versus college basketball and other leagues. I think if the league will continue to do what it's going to do, both internationally and domestically, but these playoffs will definitely help get the casual fans, as you guys claim me to be, excited about the NBA. When you have superstars like Wemby, Joker, Shea, Tatum, Brunson, those guys, if they could do what they need to do in the playoffs, win or lose, I think it's going to generate a lot of buzz for the league. Because, there's controversy right now with the league. Is the league really as good or as exciting? Is the quality of the product there? So, again, wild card, I'll let you guys flow for freestyle. Let's start with Keith, master freestylist.
That was a pretty long question. Let me. What are you asking now, though? Like,
Your thoughts on just the NBA league as a whole? What do you
that
think?
was very convoluted. Like, Stephen A.
Sorry, I'm on my Steve Kerr mode. I'm on my Steve Kerr press conference mode.
Like, is there a test later? I don't even know, man. I feel like I wasn't taking notes. Damn it. Um, uh, I am. I am a fan of of competitive competitive games. I mean the in season tournament that they added. As long as the players responded to it with actual competitive aggression, I'm all for it. I love the playoffs until it just became a showcase. I mean, not the playoffs, the All Star game,
Oh,
as
that's
it
fun.
became, as it until it became just. I think the last one with like Kobe in it, and it just became like a showcase of offensive games of all the top talent. That's boring. This last playoffs, I mean playoffs. This last All
Also,
Star has been has been the best one that I felt like we've had in years, and only because Wemby took it serious. So if
Facts.
you're going to, so I'm not a I'm a fan of anything that the NBA inputs in the game in way of games that the players actually take serious.
Facts. Facts. Mike, same question. Same long-winded question.
I think the league is in great shape. Um, I'm particularly excited for these playoffs because we're going to see matchups, and I know we don't want to look too far ahead, but we're going to see matchups in the second round that in some years would be conference finals matchups, right? And look, we've all been watching the league long enough where there've been years in the playoffs where it's like, wake me up when it's the conference finals because
Yeah, that's
there's
true.
not much to watch until then.
That's true.
So in terms of compelling basketball and in competition, so I think the league is in great shape because each conference you're going four deep with adequate teams, competent teams that can beat each other on any given night. I mean, yeah, you get to the lower end of those four, like the Lakers. You know, are they going to beat the Spurs or the Thunder in a 7 game series? I wouldn't bet on that. Are the Cavs going to beat the Pistons or the Celtics in a 7 game series? I wouldn't bet on that. But these are not 4-0, 4-1 types of series. The teams are going to have to work. The adjustments are going to have to be made, and I think it's going to be compelling basketball.
I wish you want to supplement what you just said here. The next round potentially, I mentioned Wemby versus Joker, but you two guys go head to head, assuming you guys do to handle
Yo,
business in the opening
We
round.
did.
Knicks and Celtics in the conference semis again.
yo, the second round, the second and finals round of the Eastern Conference playoffs is going to be fire.
It
Whoever,
actually made it better than the Western Conference, but I'm saying too
I
much.
think to me I'm definitely more excited by it. Like, yeah, I'm a Knicks fan, but whoever comes out of the 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 Eastern Conference Finals is going to be battle tested.
Tested.
I know everybody has given the championship already to OKC and this, that, and the other. I believe the team that comes out the East is taking the championship. That's
Wow,
my
Mike,
Wow.
do
that's
you concur,
that's
Mike, or
my
no?
bro.
I
It's gonna be some fighting going on to get out the East, bro.
There will be some fighting. I do still think the best two teams in the league are the Thunder and the Spurs.
Uh, I'd love to see the Spurs.
We'll see. We'll see. I still call the Thunder paper champs from last year. And the Spurs are still, they don't have that full playoff experience yet. They do have a phenomenal superstar and some great role players and good coaching, but they're not battle tested as the Knicks and the Celtics. Definitely not the Celtics. I think the only team out west that's really battle tested is the Nuggets. They're not even looking to get past, the finals. So that's interesting. Any last closing thoughts, gentlemen, before we call it a pod?
I just wanted to say this about the playing game. The playing tournament was proven to me the first year that the Heat made it to the finals from the playing.
Hmm,
That to me proves the value of the playing.
that is correct. That is fucking correct. Yeah. Mike, last
My
thoughts?
final comment is if I had a vote, I would have Jalen Brown as first team All NBA.
Okay. Yeah,
I
that's
would
good.
too.
I
I
think he
would
gets.
too.
I think he gets the fifth spot. I was looking at it. I think he gets the fifth spot.
I would agree. That's not a hot take.
Good, good luck.
That's a lukewarm take.
I feel he would have got that. He would have been solidified in that spot if Tatum ain't come back. And this is where politics comes in. This is what I'm saying, yo. I'm telling you. I'm
Yes,
telling
politics.
you. I hate it. I hate it. But it's the truth of the life that we live, yo. Come on.
I mean,
Yeah.
if you really want to have this conversation, guys, you rewind back to October, November. This was the second apron blow up year for the Celtics. This was a reset year for the
Yeah.
Celtics. The guy in year 10 found another gear. I don't remember that ever happening. Where like there's a guy that like takes a jump in year 10. That's kind of wild. And you got to give him all the credit. And I think if I had a vote, I would give that credit to him.
That's fair enough. And that's a good ending point right there. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us, Trio, for another round of NBA discussions. Some spicy stuff, some lukewarm takes, and some verbose comments by myself. Continue to follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, X, Blue Sky, Spotify, Trump Social, not Apple Podcasts, TikTok. And yeah, leave us some comments. Let us know what you think about the current NBA season, the play-in games, the playoff games, any predictions, and we look forward to doing a round two, which will probably be, you know, incredibly fantastic topics to talk about and team matchups. So, good night.
Hey, Indigo made the beat.